Hello everyone, Darkside Phil here, and welcome to another edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series, where I give you maximum truth and minimum bullshit regarding the latest gaming releases. And today, we are going to be checking out a game that I actually did not originally intend to pick up, especially because it came out during a week where there were other multiple releases. A game that is actually a lot different than its previous namesakes. And so a lot of people might be on the fence or not even know what this game is about and be very wary of picking it up. But let me tell you something, I was incredibly pleasantly surprised by this game when I picked it up. And actually, it's addicting. I've actually been playing it off camera at nighttime because it is that addicting and it's fun and I really enjoy the game. The game I'm talking about was announced at E3 last year and a lot of people were confused as to what the heck it is. It is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I picked up the Xbox One version, but there is also an Xbox 360 version. So, first and foremost, let me just say this. I never played Plants vs. Zombies before. Before I played this game, I didn't have a clue what I was stepping into. I knew the game existed as a mobile game on mobile devices and on the PC. You know, on your iPad, on your Android devices, you could get it. And I knew that it was some kind of a strategy-style game, but I had no real clue. I never played the game before. I didn't know what to expect when I picked up Garden Warfare, especially because I had seen the videos from it in the E3 press conference, and it didn't look like that kind of gameplay. And I was like, what is this game really going to be? So for most people, you've probably played Plants vs. Zombies on an iPad or a mobile device, and you want to see, gee, what's the console game about? I was completely the opposite. I actually played the console game, liked the universe a lot, and actually went and played both Plants vs. Zombies 1 and 2 on my iPad, both of which I also feel are pretty damn good games. Alright? But let's talk about Garden Warfare. That's what we're here for. First of all, the game runs at a full 60 frames per second. I can't tell you what native resolution it runs at. I'm sure someone out there, some bigwig, did the math, pulled the video, did something to find out what native resolution it runs at. A lot of people are giving the Xbox One shit recently, saying that most games aren't running at full 1080p like they are on the PS4. I'm not here to argue those semantics. I'm just here to tell you the game looks great. It's a cartoonish looking game, but the level of detail, the 60 frames per second smooth animations that almost never ever drop in the game, the cool art design, the shading, everything. I love it. I love the universe. I love, just look how cool and vibrant the colors are. Look at how interesting the characters look, and they are. That's the thing, you know, they could have made this real generic where everyone looks the same, everyone's the same zombie or plant archetype with different loadouts. Hell, I've played a ton of third-person shooter games like that. This game isn't like that. Every character has their own individual personality, and it makes you almost feel like, wow, this is really neat. They're all their own individuals. Similar to, by best comparison I can give you a couple things here, Team Fortress 2, what they did with each class, where they have the tank, or I'm sorry, they call it the heavy in that game, the scout, the sniper, but they have their own personal personalities as well, and that's what they did here. The scientist, the soldier, the all-star, they all act kind of similar to what their role is. The plants as well, cartoonish looking, some are cute, some are fearsome, but they're all really neat, and they're all interesting and have different and unique play styles. So what exactly is Garden Warfare? What is it anything like the mobile game? The answer is not really, except for one game mode, which we'll get to. At its core, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is a multiplayer required. I'm going to say that again. Multiplayer required. If you don't have an Xbox Live Gold account, you can't play this game. This game requires an online connection even to play it single player, but there's a reason for that. The game's not intended to be played single player. Even though you can do so, it's not intended to, and in fact the game sucks single player because you can't play against bots. There's only one mode available in single player, and it's not the best mode of the game. But we'll get to that in a moment. This game is a multiplayer third-person shooter that's team-based, that is class-based. Again, similar to, we have several loadouts, different classes that you can pick. Each class has its own unique look, but also its own unique special weapons and abilities. So for example, the zombie soldier has a machine gun. Later on, has the ability to throw gas grenades, shoot a powerful rocket, and also has a backpack that lets him super jump. Now, similar to other games, you have to wait for these abilities to cool down after you use them so that you're not constantly just spamming the same ability over and over and it becomes unfair. That's just the soldier. Every class in this game is different, and actually I believe every single class has not only its own abilities, but also its own taunts, where you can taunt your opponent after you beat them, and customizable items. So again, I like to draw a lot of parallels here to Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2, once it was, they did a huge content patch several years ago, now has all these customizations available. Every character looks different now, because you're all wearing different clothing and loadouts. It's the same with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. What you do is, as you play, you accumulate currency points based on your performance in the game, whether you won or lost, how many people you killed, what challenges you complete, etc. And you use those currency points to buy booster packs. And this is where it kind of gets a little bit annoying, because it's random what you buy. You can't just, oh, I really like the soldier, so I want to buy all the accessories for the soldier. No, you can't do that. You have to buy what's called a booster pack, which allows you to buy a not predetermined, but randomly determined set of accessories and or possible upgrades for your characters. So you might buy a booster pack for zombies and end up getting all accessories for the other zombies that you don't really like and not for the one that you love the most. And that's a little bit annoying, but it's more incentive to play the game, which is why I understand why they're doing it. This game, I almost feel like it was going to be pay to get in, you know what I mean? Like one of those games where, oh, I drop $100 and I automatically get all this currency and I can just buy all the packs. But they didn't do that, which is odd enough. I think a lot of people thought that's what it was going to be, like a mobile game, but they didn't go there. It's you have to just keep continuously playing the game in order to actually unlock that stuff. Now, the classes are unique and interesting. The soldier is more of a offense, very heavy attack-based loadout, versus, say, the scientist is kind of a balance. He's got a shotgun that's good up close and a teleport that allows him to teleport close to enemies, but at the same time he has a heal ability where he puts down like a podium and it sprays healing mist to the zombies around it. So he's kind of a hybrid. Then there's things that are like more purely healing. So for example, in the plant side, there is a sunflower that has a heal beam that can directly heal a teammate, and that's more if you play directly the role of the full-time healer of the match. Match types. Let's talk about this. First of all, the biggest match you'll ever play is 12 versus 12, which is good. I mean, 12 versus 12 is a lot in this day and age, and I actually enjoy the huger maps when we finally get to them and we're playing a full 12 versus 12 map. There's three kinds of gameplay in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. There is Team Vanquish, which is literally team deathmatch. Two teams duke it out, 12 on 12, first to 50 kills is the winner. Usually those matches go like that. Then you've got Garden versus Graveyards. And what this is the zombies are blitzing the home base of the plants. Now, if you've played Plants vs. Zombies, that's pretty much what this is supposed to be. It's like the story of the mobile app brought into a third-person shooter, full 3D world. The zombies are blitzing the plant base. It's the plant's job to defend. Now, the cool thing about this is it's multiple stages, similar to other third-person action games and even other first-person shooters. It's not just you take one objective, you win. It's you take one objective, which unlocks the next, and you go to that one, it unlocks the next, and you go to that one, it unlocks the next. And so it's a chain until you finally get to the final objective, when usually there's some automated booby traps or some kind of added difficulty for the zombies to finally try to overtake that objective. So it's kind of fun, it's progressive gameplay. A match of that, going from start to finish, can take as long as over 20 to 25 minutes, depending on if you really go down to the wire every single one of the checkpoints along the way. But it's fun as hell. And there's also areas where you can plant potted plants, which turn into turrets that are defending your base. And there's different turrets that you can also unlock through buying those card packs that I told you about, that also give you customizable items and upgrades for your characters. The third game mode of Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is called Garden Ops, and this is really a mode that's very unique. It's more like tower defense. You will choose on an open world map an area to plant your garden from, let's say, 3 to 5 predetermined spots. Once you do, you have a certain amount of time with your teammates to plant those turret defenses that I just told you about, and then it's just a horde of zombies, horde mode, coming at you, and you need to fend off the zombies wave after wave. Now, after certain waves, you can auto-heal. You can set up healing areas to heal yourself during the course of the gameplay. If you have a dedicated healer, they can heal you during this gameplay, and you also can revive your teammates when they die, so that's a big help. And there's also special waves where you fight bosses. The bosses are ripped straight out of Plants vs. Zombies, the app, including the Disco Zombie and the Yeti Zombie and that kind of stuff, which is kind of neat to see the zombies from the game, if you're a fan of the mobile games, brought into this game. And that's the fun. One of the most fun things about this is the crossover. When I played Garden Warfare, I immediately wanted to play the app, and to see all the references to it is awesome. Okay? And so you have to survive through 10 waves of zombie attacks. If you do, there's a final wave where there's an area where you're going to get picked up by an airship. And you have to get there and to hold that area from the zombies until time runs out, and then the airship will pick you up and rescue you. If you do it, you obviously get bonus experience points. If you don't, it's okay. You'll just have to settle for whatever experience points you earned in the matches. Now the thing is, what I just described to you is it. That's the whole game. 3 game modes. There are some variations. There's a classic Team Vanquish and classic Gardens vs. Graveyards, which basically means you can only pick the plain vanilla classes. You can't pick customized loadouts or customized things which come up later. And that's a little annoying, but if you want the pure experience of it being balanced, you need to play the classic mode so that people don't mess around with the customizations and such, okay? But that's it. 3 game modes. I'd probably say for Gardens vs. Graveyards, there's probably maybe 5 maps. And they actually have nighttime and daytime versions of a few of them, but they're identical pretty much. For Team Vanquish, there's not that many. I think there's like 3 or 4 maps in rotation right now. And for Garden Ops, I also believe there's maybe 3 to 5 maps. So you're talking all in all across all game modes, you probably got maybe 15 maps, if that. And you might say, wow, that's not really a lot. And the bottom line is, the game is incredibly addicting, but after you play it for a few hours, you'll probably see everything that there is to see when it comes to the maps and such in the game. The cool part about the game that's so addicting is that as you level up, you have challenges for each character. So for example, for the soldier, it might say, Challenge 1, use your rocket launcher 3 times, get 3 kills, and then you'll complete the challenge. And when you do, oh my gosh, your character will level up, it's called, and then they get next level of challenges. And you just keep doing this progressively up and up and up. As you do this, your character will actually gain new abilities as well as earn customized card packs for that character. So for example, I got my soldier to level 4. It says you unlock the card pack. Check it out when the match ends. And when I did, I got a unique facial hair, a unique taunt, and different things for the character. So it's actually fun to try to level up your characters more and more, even though, yes, you are playing more of the same game, to have more customizations and possibly more items along the line. The ultimate goal of the game is not only to win in the matches, but to get enough currency to unlock new characters. Now let me get that straight, because it's really a misnomer. Their characters aren't new or different, really. It's the same character. So for example, right now I have a engineer who has a gun that's more like almost like a grenade launcher, and he has the ability to build certain things during stages. He also has the ability to stun opponents. There's another guy you can unlock who I did manage to unlock by buying enough card packs, called the mechanic. He's basically the engineer. The difference here is that he has a different gun. His gun is actually an automatic weapon, not that grenade launcher style gun that I told you about. And he has a few little minor differences here. And of course his appearance is completely different. He looks different. Although it's the same base zombie, he has all different accessories and stuff on his body. So ultimately what your goal with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is to do is to play enough to unlock enough currency to unlock all the alternate versions of every character. It could be quite a daunting task, because let me give you an example. I've now played probably a total of, I'd say, 4.5, let's say 5, 6, probably 7, 8, almost 9 hours of gameplay. And so far I've only unlocked 2 of the 8, I'm sorry, 2 alternate characters out of the 8 archetypes that exist, but there's multiple versions. So for example, I unlocked the freeze cactus that has kind of an ice ability that's different from the regular cactus. Guess what? There's also a fire cactus, and there's other cacti as well that I haven't unlocked yet. So there's like multiple extra versions of each character. So if you really want to unlock everything in the game, you're going to probably have to play the hell out of the game. So besides the fact that yes, the game is very limited in the number of maps that it has, the other one complaint that I have is, God, now I'm having a brain fart. Hold on one second. Oh, the matchmaking. The matchmaking of the game may leave something to be desired when you're talking about balance. For whatever reason, and I don't know what it is, maybe it's because you're adding more people to these playlists as you play. You don't always start with a full 24 people. For whatever reason, I found that the matchmaking doesn't really auto-balance anything. Usually whenever I'm playing the game, sometimes you'll luck out, but a lot of the times, everyone who's higher ranked than you, and you can tell because you have an overall level as well. So obviously someone who's an overall level of 30 has played the game a hell of a lot more than someone's an overall level of 3. They're going to have more unlocked, they're going to know more about the ins and outs of the game and how to play with all the characters. So why do all the level 30s or the higher level guys all get stacked on one team and all the lower levels on the other? The balancing makes no sense. And this is a common problem with all of these kind of shooter style games these days that I've noticed. The matchmaking is terrible. You finally get in a match and no one's balanced. There's no balancing to be had. And so just good luck because the other team has a ton of customized stuff unlocked. You have nothing. You're fucked. Oh well. I'm really annoyed by that. And you know, if you're going to invest your money in a retail game, you expect that they put effort into it to try to make it a fair and balanced experience for everyone, especially a game like this where more playtime equals more characters, equals more abilities, and they didn't do that, and that really frustrates me. Now the good news about it is that already, the game's only been out for a week, they already patched it. They added in a new game mode called Mixed Mode, which basically takes the Team Deathmatch, they call it Team Vanquish, and the Gardens and Graveyards game types and maps, and puts them all into a randomized playlist. So as you're playing, you may play 2 to 3 Gardens and Graveyards matches, then a Team Vanquish, then another Gardens and Graveyards, then 3 Team Vanquish. Who knows? But it randomizes it, so you're not only playing the same game mode over and over, and it gets stagnant, okay? So in that regard, they've already improved it once. Who's to say they don't patch it 10 more times in the next couple weeks, and they fix the balancing, and they fix all that stuff? Right now, unfortunately, I can tell you, it doesn't exist, but here's hoping that it does in the future. Now, the last point before I actually give the game a score is that it's only $39.99 United States dollars. $40. It's not a full $60 priced retail game. I think the reason they did that is they realized, listen, this game, it's fun, it's competitive, it's addicting, but it doesn't have some kind of a crazy high production story mode. There is no story to the game whatsoever. It doesn't have, you know, a big arcing dramatic characters and stuff. And a lot of times when people go to buy a game, I want a 20-hour long story mode plus an engrossing multiplayer. They realize the game is multiplayer only, and that's what you're paying for. But they're basically saying that's the emphasis of what the game should have been. They didn't want to make a shitty story mode that was dialed in that you don't care about and you skip over just to get to the multiplayer anyway. So the $40 discounted price tag is warranted, but I think that's going to be the one reason why people might choose to skip it. $40 is still kind of a hefty price tag for a game that you've basically seen almost everything except for the unlockable characters after only a small handful of hours of gameplay. If anything, if the game had twice as many maps, I would say, wow, perfect. But right now it's very limited. It's unclear whether or not they will release new maps and they'll be free or if they'll charge you, which I get the feeling is what it's going to be. They'll charge you for a DLC later for map packs and stuff, which I may check out because I'll be honest with you guys, I love the game. It's cute, it's funny, it's fun, and it's addicting. I want to keep playing it to keep unlocking stuff, and they did a good job really in designing the game to be a game like that. So overall, if you're the kind of person, you want to put down your hard-earned money and you want to play a game for hours on end, this might be the game for you. And in fact, since there is nothing else like a shooter out besides Call of Duty, which everyone hated Call of Duty Ghosts last year, this may be the game that you'll want to buy on the Xbox One until Titanfall comes out. Well, too bad because Titanfall's coming out right away, so maybe that's not the reason. Or maybe if you're a parent and you own an Xbox One and your kid wants a shooter and he's dying for Call of Duty and he wants gory Titanfall in a month, or you say no, but you could get this, and this is it's fun. I mean, the kids will love this game, seriously. If I got addicted, they're going to get addicted too. So, knowing what it is, okay, knowing what they intended it to be, I think that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare is well done. I do think it's a bit on the limited side. I do think that if it's a full release, they should have had more content in it. Definitely more maps, and that's why one major gripe is the maps, they're not enough, and the balancing is not there with the matchmaking right now. And unfortunately, those are two critical things that could really hold back a shooter's performance. That being said, it's being sold for a discounted $40 price tag. It's incredibly addictive, it's cute, it's quirky, it's funny, and it's functionally well done. So, weighing all those factors together, I'm actually going to say that Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, for me, is an 8 out of 10. I think that if there was more value to it, if they'd given you more maps, or if the game was a little bit cheaper, I might have even scored it higher. But that's how much fun I actually had with Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I think it's a great game. I think that anyone who owns an Xbox One, you'd actually kind of be hurting yourself to skip it. And I know, oh, well, but Phil, Titanfall and Watch Dogs and all these games are right around the corner. I fully understand that. But this is a fun-ass game. And if you really want to have a complete experience with your Xbox One, don't miss a good one. Now, that being said, this game very well might be in the bargain bin in a few months, depending on how well it sells, and it may be for half price or less. Then it's a definite must-buy. But for right now, I think the only thing that may hold people back or make them apprehensive is the fact that the price tag is still $40, which may be hefty for a game with no single player and a limited amount of maps. So, it is what it is. I really like Garden Warfare. You might not, but hopefully this review gave you enough information that you can judge for yourself and decide whether or not you want to check it out. Alright, so that's going to wrap it up, everyone, for this edition of the Hateful Truth video game review series, and I hope that you feel I gave you maximum truth and minimum bullshit on today's game. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time for another review that is honest. Thanks a lot. Peace out.